Hello, I'm Nigel James and a very warm welcome. Well, one of the more unusual exhibits on show here today is this Morris 1000 bomb disposal vehicle. Earlier on this weekend, we caught up with its owner at Cullion.
With regards to this vehicle, it's been decked out as a bomb disposal. Bomb disposal was the Royal Engineers of the British Army type. The other was run by the Ordnance, which is smaller explosive, like shells and all. The colour of this was done basically more or less for the fun of it with my brother and myself. It was done green at one time, and we did not want a green vehicle because there are superstitions through the garage trade about anything that's all green. So jokingly I said to my brother, paint the wings red and make it a bomb disposal. Well, I goes home to lunch, and when I come back, the vehicle now has red wings, and that's how it has stayed ever since. It's been an interesting vehicle going around the shows. It catches a lot of eyes. I know I get pulled up for it. It's not exactly what it should be, but I get noticed. Maybe one day I will have a proper one, but time will tell. We got the vehicle, it's the time to put it in roadworthy condition. It's a unique vehicle in the fact that the back end here is all fiberglass. We now have a fiberglass skin door, which was my own idea, and I worked on it, and I now have the molds for it. It carries fiberglass wings, a front grille surround and a valance. I'm a strong believer in the fiberglass because rust is our biggest nightmare with the older vehicles, and it is more cost effective to replace should you have a mishap with it. Half the price makes it you can have two mishaps and you're still in pocket. I know it's not original, but it looks right. Everybody's happy with it. And the people that follow me around and come and talk about it really think it's the real thing, and they're quite happy with it. The left hand side, the mould, I supplied the original panel for the mould for that. It was done by Henricks, and for the length of the panel we had a cheaper body, and that's why we got it. It was a very good thing. We got no worry about rust. It's quieter, it's lighter, and it helps a lot. People have asked me if I want to sell it. I quote them a price and they walk away because they don't think it's, well, I don't really think it's worth it, or they just can't afford it. But to me, it's worth every penny of it. The insurance are quite happy to give me a good price on it. Should anything happen to it, I lose it or it gets written off, because to build one back to it will cost more than what the insurance company will give us, because finding one to start with, as it was Henricks done it, they're now out of business as such. So who got the mould to make a new back end? Your guess is as good as mine. So one day somebody might come up and make metal ones, but I don't think they'll be as good as this, because as I say, rust is the biggest nightmare of them, especially around this part of it here. They all rust very badly around the guttering, and people look at mine and they say, God, how do you keep it like that? Of course, I have to tell them the truth, it is fiberglass.
Well, it's the turn of firefighting vehicles now. This Austin K2 is looking in remarkably good condition. Kevin Cartwright is with me. Kevin, what's the story behind this one?
Well, this vehicle, along with a few others we're going to see, I'll show you shortly, is owned by the West Midlands Fire Service Preservation Group, of which I'm a member. This is the oldest vehicle we possess, and it was in a bit of a state when we acquired it. It's taken 15 years to get into this state. They were generally used all over the country during the Second World War. This is what they called a type of utility vehicle. They also put on the back of them turntable ladders. Some were four-wheel drive, some didn't have ladders, some were ambulances.
Let's take a little.
And so on and so on.
Let's take a little wander and see
Okay.
what else we can discover about it.
Yeah, it's a straight six petrol engine. We could take the cover off and show you, but it's a bit awkward. It's a crash gearbox. That is to say, it's a 4-speed crash gearbox. If you miss a gear, you have to stop and start again.
Right.
If we come around looking into the cab, you can see it's pretty basic. There's just a starter, a choke. There's a speedo and a fuel gauge, and that's about it. The brakes are virtually non-existent on these vehicles.
Is that right?
Yeah, you do need.
So I want to ask you to start her up and ride it then. not
Thank you.
Not too far.
Yeah. Moving around the vehicle, it's just, this is a rear wheel drive vehicle. It's used for pulling a fire pump, which I'll show you shortly. And moving around to the back,
Yeah.
as you can see, we have 2 stretchers, which are used to carry a ceiling hook, used for pulling ceilings down in wrecked buildings, obviously. Yeah. Old argon lamp there, which is original.
I was going to say that's a pretty large one, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. We've got some of the original uniforms in the back, gas masks that they used to carry. The 2 heavy levers, wooden shod levers, they were used for getting the vehicle out of the mud if it ever got stuck there.
What sort of district would this have worked on originally?
This particular one worked down in Kent, but as I say, that they got all over the country, literally. I mean, these were the sort of standard vehicle during the war because they were so reliable.
Is this the
original wooden ladder? Yeah.
That's the original one there, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the pump that the vehicle would tow. It's a 1,000-gallon a minute pump. In there is another Coventry Climax petrol engine, which will, as I say, it'll deliver 1,000 gallons of water a minute. And again, used extensively during the war and during the Blitz.
What's so significant about that 40D there? Is that a district code? Or?
That was a district code for, I'm not quite sure, but it was down in the Kent area, and each unit was allocated a number. That number was on the side of the pump, albeit faded, so we just restored it to what it was.
Yeah. Firefighting is certainly in the prime here today. We've got a whole range of firefighting equipment, which we'll probably take a look at in a sec.
Yeah.
This one here.
Well, this one, this is the second vehicle that we've brought here today. This is a Dennis F8. This is powered by a Rolls-Royce petrol engine, straight out. This dates from the mid-50s and was used by brigades all over the country. On the top there, you can see the ladder on its side is what's known as a hook ladder.
Yeah.
I don't know whether your cameraman can pick it up, but there's a big hook on the front of the ladder.
I can see it, yes.
And these ladders were used in pairs, and what happened was a fireman would take the ladder, he'd extend the hook onto a windowsill. Yeah, he'd climb up the ladder, he'd take the second ladder, hook it onto the next windowsill, climb up that ladder, and he would scale the building, and if necessary, he'd pick someone up, put them on the shoulder, and come all the way back down.
The original fireman's lift.
Yeah, which was quite hairy at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Again,
lots of levers and dials here as well, I notice.
But basically another 1,000 gallon a minute pump to the uninitiated. What we've got here is basically the water comes in there through the inlets, goes round the water pump, and is delivered out to the branchmen and jets via those two outlets. Alternatively, you could use a hose reel for a smaller fire, and behind that bulkhead is a 300 gallon water tank. But again, if you were using the main jets, that would be gone in a few minutes. Yeah. But again, this one has been restored by ourselves over a period of about 15 years. But again, it's a crash box. If you miss the gear on the road, you have to stop and start.
Okay. Staffordshire Fire and Rescue Service. What's the history behind this one?
Well, we acquired that off Staffordshire. They didn't want it, and it's an American Jeep. They use it as a major rescue unit for road traffic accidents. The mast on the top extends, and you can light a whole area up of, say, a motorway carriageway. And this used to carry, it doesn't carry anymore, but it carried equipment for cutting cars and cutting people out of cars, basically, and any ancillary equipment you'd need on the motorway. Before the days when the police used to arrive, the fire brigade literally carried everything on this type of vehicle. Yeah. Sadly, we don't do that now because the police do it for us. We just take a specialised fire unit, then the police do the rest.
I can see a lot of gear on the back there.
Yeah, generators mainly to power the lights when they're up, and then we could put lights to cone off an area. We'd light the place up, it'd look like Debenhams at Christmas. But,
so it comes very handy then.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's used now for when we use the vehicle now. We're here for 2 days. We run generators for caravans, and we light. Over the back there, we light up the camp areas during the night when all the public have gone home, so it serves 2 uses.
Very, very useful. Do you get a lot of help from the local fire service here? You know, do they sort of support you in what you try to do?
Yes. Well, they do and they don't. It's it's like everything else. It's a public service now. Budgets are tight. They do try to help us, but we're more or less self-supportive now. We do have a store selling model fire engines and things like that too, so we can put fuel into these things and keep the maintenance of them. As you can appreciate, they do take a lot of upkeep.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Yeah.
How long has your society been running?
Our society is about 20 years old now.
Oh, so it's been in existence some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have many members?
We've got about 30 members now. Some of them drive, some of them don't drive. Some are good mechanics, some are not. And then all the wives are involved, with selling the models and that. So it all comes together sometimes.
Vintage firefighting next. This one must go back quite some time, I would think.
Yeah, this is a privately owned one, but he's in this section today. But a private individual has restored this one, and this used to belong to a works fire brigade, as you can see on the side of it, but it was purchased from Pilkington Brothers and totally restored to this condition.
I can see a very well-preserved bell there. I mean, presumably that works?
Oh, it does, it does. Indeed it does.
Well, it's quite a rarity to be sitting in an open cab. It's a Dennis F2, NDJ 869 is the registration number. It's quite a star as well, Bob, isn't it?
It is really it was one of the last Dennises ever built with an open cab by Dennises. Many people come to me and they say, that can't be right, not 1961 And I say, well, it is and it was the forerunner of the alloy ladder because the vehicles prior to this was built with a wooden wheeled escape. So it is just a rarity in that respect. The vehicle itself was built by Dennises, John Dennises, for Pilkingtons, which is the glassworks at St Helens. This one actually served at Doncaster, but on the closure of Doncaster factory, it was brought back to St Helens, and it served its last years at St Helens alongside of another Dennis F2. coming up for disposal in 1972. The guy I bought it off actually bought it from auction in 72, didn't do a lot with it. He used it once for a wedding, and then when I found it, like, it was in a farmyard.
Really?
And well, it'd been there for an awful long time, since the sort of the early 80s, and I bought it from him, like, and when I sort of put a battery to the engine and put some petrol in, like, she started up. It's got a big B80 Rolls-Royce engine in it. I'm very, very, very thirsty. It does about probably 6 miles to the gallon, or is it 6 gallons to the mile? No, I think it's 6 miles to the gallon. Like, it feels like 6 gallons to the mile. But she goes a dream, like, you know, for its age, like, she goes a dream.
All the equipment as well, I notice, is it's quite sort of centrally housed. Is that significant to this particular model, or is that...
It is for the open cab vehicles, like, especially with the hose reel being central, like, because if you look at the later ones, like, they're built on the back end, possibly in the side lockers.
Yeah.
Whereas these, like, the lockers, they didn't have a great deal of space for the lockers, you know, for equipment in them. So they tended to put all this stuff on the top of the bodywork. It's what they call a braidwood body, whereby you just have the officer in charge and the driver in the seat, then all the other firemen sat on the sides, like, with their feet on the running boards. You probably get, you know, in the day this was on the run, you probably get like 6 either side or something like that, like, you know, so you could have a hell of a lot of firemen turning out on one fire engine.
It's got quite a powerful searchlight as well, I noticed.
Yeah, this is a feature of all the older fire engines, like, with the big, I think they're called Francis searchlights, and they have about a 200 yard cable on them. Also in the lockers, like, you've got the tripods. So, you know, in a case of you want to light up a building, like, you just take it away from the building, switch it on, put it on the tripod, and you've got lighting. The suction, like, are all 5-inch. The pump is a 1,000 gallon a minute pump. It will pump 1,000 gallons of water a minute.
So it's quite a powerful one.
Oh yeah, it's a big pump, like, yeah.
I said in my introduction there, Bob, that this vehicle is a star. It actually has starred in a film, hasn't it, as well?
Yeah. I have been told that in the film Go to Blazes, where there was a few sort of criminals, really, like, they wanted to do a robbery, and they got this idea, like, if they were in an emergency vehicle, police and everything wouldn't touch them, and all the traffic had moved to one side, like, to let them through, like, so it'd be an easy getaway. So they decided, like, they were going to find a fire engine. So they went to a showroom, must have been, like, sort of in the London area or whatever, and in the showroom, like, were 2 London Dennis fire engines, like, I think they were F108s or something like that, or 101s, and this one was alongside of them. And I think because of the cost of it at that time, it was too much for them to be buying, like, it was too much for what they wanted, like. So they went out in the end, like, and bought an even older one, like, you know. So yeah, it does have its day, like, it was in Go to Blazes, like.
So a star is born and a star in the making.
That's right, yeah.
Well, with me now is Peter Moore from Coulsdon in Surrey. Peter, a rather magnificent fire engine, if I may say so, behind us. What's the history behind the model itself?
Well, it was introduced in the early 60s in America as one of their very first hydraulic platforms. This particular one came from Pensacola in New Jersey originally, was sold on to Catawissa, and we bought it from a dealer after that.
Tell me, how did you actually come to find it in the first place?
Well, the chap we know out there is a dealer. As I say, we bought a couple of trucks off him, and we said to him we fancy one of this make, and he said, I know one, I will find it for you. And that was it.
Now, what's the year of manufacture of this particular model?
This one is 1966.
And you mentioned as well a little bit earlier on about the hydraulic system. I think I'm right in saying that America was way ahead of us, wasn't it, as far as hydraulics was concerned? What's the story behind that?
That's right, yes, they adopted what were originally street lighting wagons as fire engines originally, which developed the hydraulic platform from there. And they were way ahead of us. This was withdrawn while we're still building them.
Yeah. The storage of such a large machine must cause you some problems. Where exactly do you store it?
In a large barn.
And did you actually find it in this particular condition when it came over from the States?
This is almost exactly as it was withdrawn, yes.
Now everybody who looks at a fire engine always likes to know about the boom and how high does it actually go. How far does it go?
It goes at 80 foot, this one.
And what about any mechanical stories when you first received it? Any interesting stories to tell us about that?
Well, yes, we picked it up from the docks at Southampton in January and got about 8 miles outside Southampton when the rear differential failed and snapped the prop shaft. So it was towed back, and this is its first outing since I got replacement parts for it.
Well, it's looking in pristine condition now, Peter. We hope that you enjoy the rest of the show here. Well, it's the turn now of the old Panda car, the old favourite from the 60s and early 70s, the Minor 1000. Rose Gibbs, you're the owner of the vehicle here. Must be a fascinating history, mustn't there?
Yeah, it's a lovely little car. We found it in Enfield and somebody told us about it. It was absolutely rotten. New floors, everything needed to be done. But we restored it up, myself, my husband and my 2 boys, and found out the history on it. It used to be based at Yesteryear police station. We found the police photographer that took the photos of it at Hendon when it first came onto the fleet. We then found another chap that came up to us at a show that used to do the servicing on it, and another one that used to work the beat in another little Panda with it. So yeah, it came from Yesteryear police station, which is right near where we live, about 5 miles from us.
Yeah. Let's take a little wander around it, Rose. You say that basically it was a family affair as far as the restoration was concerned.
Yes.
How long did it take to restore
2
it?
years.
A 2-year job.
2-year job, yeah. It had to have complete new floors. It was sprayed in red oxide when we got it, so it was complete rub back. We were at first told that the roof would be completely blue with just white doors, but when I rubbed it back, I actually found the original white roof underneath. So we had to rush out and get some more paint and do the roof as it was.
That police sign on top there, is that the original?
No, I'm afraid not. You can't get the originals now, but my husband made it. So,
Very ingenious of him.
Yeah, he used to be a carpenter, so he made it. My son eldest son did all the welding. He was self-taught, and he also taught himself to spray, so he sprayed it.
And was it, when we talk about restoration, was it sort of mainly weekends and so on? Or?
Evenings and weekends, yeah.
Evenings and weekends.
Evenings and weekends, yeah. The RAF base in Stanmore used to be very good, and we used to sort of service their scout vehicle. So they lent us their motor club, let us work in their motor club, which was very, very handy.
Yeah. Rose, one thing that does come to mind is how do you get it from your home to here at Abingdon today, where we are? I mean, are you permitted to drive it in?
No, we've got little magnetic signs that cross the police, and my friend made a little hat that goes on the top.
Right.
A little vinyl hat that goes on and straps around, so we're covered up when we go out.
I see. So
unless you've actually got police permission, then it's a no-go.
Yeah. And of course, another thing that a lot of owners of classic police cars get involved in are such things as historical programs like Heartbeat and that kind of thing. Have you ever been involved?
I haven't been yet, no. I'd love to be, but I haven't been yet. I mean, we do things sort of with the police if they want a show. We've got the original uniforms. Roy, who's the event organiser, actually got me a Norman Hartnell uniform, which is the uniform that goes with this particular car.
Right.
That was used in the Met, so completely different from the other uniforms. So we've got that. We've got an original 60s uniform, and at some events we sort of do the uniforms and let people see what we actually looked like. But of course, you have to have the police permission to wear the uniforms.
Right,
So.
right. Yeah. So any TV producers watching today should maybe get in touch.
Yes, please do. Yes, it'd be really nice to see this on film. Yeah, it would be.
That's right.
You know.
Rose, thanks for your time and
Okay,
talking to us about your little Morris Minor.
Yes, my little Mr. Plod.
Mr. Plot.
Mr. Plod.
And very nice it looks too.
Little boy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Ken Owen, there's a bit of a story behind this one, isn't there?
Yes, this was my original police motorcycle. I was in the Liverpool force, and in the early 70s I took possession of this as my patrol bike, and I rode it for about 3 years. And when the police sold the machine, I bought the machine off them, and I've kept it ever since.
Getting hold of some of the parts, I think in particular the windshield here, that was quite difficult as well, wasn't it?
When the police sell their machines, they take off all the police parts, and I put the bike eventually back to a road bike. However, over the last 2 years I decided to put it back into police trim, and then I had a heck of a game looking for all the parts, especially the screen and the radio, which was very difficult to find. But eventually I found everything, and it's now back to its totally authentic condition. It was a fine machine. I spent many a happy hour chasing stolen vehicles around the streets and alleyways of Liverpool. And as I say, it's now back to its original trim.
And what sort of top speed would we be talking about,
We're
Ken?
looking probably about 115, 116, but the main benefits were the low down speeds, like 0 to 60 in probably about 4.2 seconds. That's where, especially around the city streets, it was an ideal tool.
Yeah. Could you put a value on this, or is there
Well,
no?
you can't really put a value on it because there are so few of these machines left, especially in police trim. I wouldn't know what to value it at. But I know of sort of a couple more that need restoring, and I'm sure in the future we'll get them back on the road in the full trim, because it's a shame not to see them back on the road.
Oh, it's certainly looking in remarkable condition.
Yes.
The word Interpol there on the side tank, has that got anything to do with foreign connections as such?
Well, no, that is the police model of the 750 Commando, and it was the police model Interpol. It was the police model. They had two models, the 750 and the 850. The 850 being the later one, which didn't have the top box on the back. It had side panniers on the side, but apart from that, it was a standard Commando.
Is that your original helmet there?
That is my original helmet that I rode and wore, and the gauntlets as well.
The original gauntlets?
Yes, I got all my old kit, all the gaiters, the jodhpurs. I still have all them, and I will probably bring them to the next show and wear them.
As a police rider, is there special training needed, Ken?
Yes, we had a special course, an advanced motorcycle course, which I took in 1970, and a wonderful course. You'd never get it in civilian life.
Really?
I would recommend it to any motorcyclist. Of course, you can't do it. And we were taught to ride safely, smoothly, and at speeds of sort of 100 to 120 mile an hour, quite safely. And I really enjoyed that course. 6 weeks of sheer bliss, hurtling around the countryside. It's lovely.
During your time with the police force, did you ever escort any celebrities or royalty?
Well, yes. We used to do all the escorts, emergency escorts such as the ambulances to hospitals, and one of the escorts that I did, we were at Aintree, and my claim to fame was doing traffic duty outside the entrance to Aintree and stopping the traffic. And when I turned round to move the traffic on, behind me was Prince Charles waiting to go into Aintree. Oh. So I held him up for a few minutes.
So claim to fame.
Claim to fame, that was, yes.
Well, in true police fashion, my director has said, move along now. And Dave Butler is with me. Dave, this is a bit of a rarity, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's actually one of the last 14 Triumph PIs ever made. It sat idle for about 3 months before it was commissioned into the Met Police. It was unique to the Mets being a blue car, an area car, and it was based at West End Central, call sign Charlie 2.
Uh-huh. And where did you actually come by it?
Funnily enough, I went to a police memorabilia reunion and spoke to a PC who used to drive them. He then quoted this registration number, which we'd seen at certain shows, and I knew then at that stage that the car was coming up for sale.
Yeah.
So I bought it 2 days ago, and the PC who drove it is still a serving PC.
Is that right?
Yes, so he's got 33 years in.
Uh-huh. Obviously a very powerful transmission unit under the bonnet there. I bet that could have got up to a bit of a fair speed in its day, wouldn't it?
Definitely. I mean, the fuel injection systems on these PIs were superb. They were prone to overheating in hot weather, and the car, for no particular reason, just cutting out. But in the day, they were capable of 110, 120. But for town driving, they wouldn't have got over 60 or 70.
Would most of these Triumphs have been automatic transmission, Dave?
Again, unique to the Met Police. Basically for town vehicles stopping and starting, they were mainly or predominantly automatic transmission vehicles. Again, unique to the Met Police.
Yeah, yeah. Now you yourself today are resplendent in a period outfit. Tell us more about that.
Well, again, it's a period for the car. It was used from 1963 to 1981. Again, unique to the Met Police, they wore duty bands, which are the checkered handband. The cap, again, didn't have a checkered hatband, which we're familiar with today. Again, unique to the Met Police. Again, to go with their vehicles. It was phased out in the late 70s when they had to conform with health and safety and other police forces throughout the UK.
You mentioned checkered hatbands there. What is the actual purpose of a checkered hatband?
Well, it first started out quite early on in the 20th century. It was adopted by the Scottish police forces. It was basically uniformity in relation to military uniform as well, to have some sort of uniformity. It was then adopted by county forces in the mid-60s, and the Met was the last police force to actually adopt the checkered band. Again, it was just to distinguish between traffic wardens, security guards and people of other uniform branches.
And the relevance of the duty band, what were they for?
Well, a duty band was worn on duty. You placed a band on when you went on your tour of duty, and when the band came off at night, you were actually allowed to travel home in full uniform. But members of the public were aware that if you weren't wearing your duty band, they weren't to disturb you, that you were technically off duty.
Excellent. Well, Dave, Officer Q785, thank you very much for talking to us, and good luck with the car.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, Roger James from Chesterfield joins me now, and Roger's going to tell us a little bit more about this aerial leader.
Yes, this is a 1963 aerial leader made specifically by the factory for the Sheffield Constabulary.
And what year of manufacture was this one, Roger?
This is 1963, about mid-range for the aerial leader that was made between 1958 and 1965.
Now, you've had a lot of work as well, haven't you, in actually putting this together?
Indeed I have, yes. It came into my possession as a swap for some aerial arrow parts, and it was basically a box of pieces.
Has this machine here then seen service for the police, or is it just as you say, did it actually come in components that you then put together?
It has been in service with the Sheffield Police. I can confirm that because fortunately the old style logbook came with the parts, and you can see the first keeper is the City of Sheffield Police. And since getting the machine up and running on the road, I've taken it across to the workshops at West Bars, for one of the mechanics to be reacquainted with it. He used to service it when he was a young man in the mid-60s.
What sort of speed would this machine get up to, do you think?
It's capable of 70 miles an hour. Anything above that, you're really pushing the engine.
And it's got its traditional telephone on board as well, I notice.
Yes, that's a Cosa handset, complemented by the Avely aerial base unit that went with that particular manufacturer of equipment.
What kind of things would these compartments have held, do you think, in the past?
Well, different from a standard machine. On the police leader, inside the near side pannier, there's a special bracket welded in to take an extra battery. So you've got the standard battery under the seat and an extra one in the pannier to power the radio equipment.
Now, the name BMW might be familiar to many people who drive cars, but the name DMW wouldn't be. Let's move over here, Roger. This is also your machine, isn't it?
It is, yes.
What can you tell us about this one?
Well, this is DMW, and DMW stands for Dawson's Motorcycles of Wolverhampton. It is, in fact, a British machine.
And did you have a lot of work with this one in putting it into restoration?
I didn't really. The machine, as you see it, is how I purchased it 3 years ago. However, it did have a seized engine. The engine had to come out and be totally stripped down and rebuilt to get it running and get the machine back on the road. But the bodywork, all I've done on that is given it a good clean.
Roger, I must ask, what's the attraction of keeping these pairs of bikes here? Is there anything in particular that attracts you to it?
There isn't really. It'd be difficult to answer that question. They certainly appeal to me, and the smaller capacity motorcycles used by the British Police Service in the 1960s is, for me, the major attraction.
Yeah. I notice as well that this one has got a standard telephone unit on board too.
Yes, although this is a slightly later machine, the leader is 1963 and the DMW Deemster is 1968. They still used the same radio equipment for the period.
Roger, tell me about the power unit on this DMW.
This particular model of DMW is the DMW V, and the V stands for Viceroy. It's a 250 flat twin two-stroke engine that was originally used in the Viceroy scooter manufactured by Velocet. So we've got a well-known motorcycle concern, and DMW have used their engine and gearbox layout to power this machine.
Now, moving back to the telephone unit on board there, getting hold of parts and the general restoration of those must be quite difficult.
It is very, very difficult. Although I've been in the police service myself for 21 years, I've not succeeded in being able to source any of these Cosa units. It was only when the sale of this motorcycle was offered to me, complete with a Cosa radio, that I was able to obtain one. But since then, a good friend living in Derby has taken the matter on board, and he's now manufacturing reproductions. In fact, both of these sets are copies of the original.
Well, if you were ever involved in an accident in 1965, this Bedford here behind us is probably one of the models that would have come and collected you. Bill, tell us all about it.
Well, it's a 1965 J1 Bedford, and as you can see, it was in service with the Birmingham Fire and Ambulance Service, because fire service and ambulance service were combined in those days. So
on the side as well, there's a set of numbers, 205. Tell us about them.
yeah, well, those are the fleet numbers of the vehicles, and our preservation group is named after this particular vehicle. We call ourselves the 205 group because this vehicle was renovated and put back to its original livery from its Health Authority Metropolitan Service livery, where it did end its days as a riot vehicle, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Now, in the mid-70s, I think I'm right in saying that this model was actually involved in a fairly traumatic call-out, wasn't it?
Yes, he was fourth in attendance at the Birmingham pub bombings in 1973, operating from Bristol Road Station.
If we take a look at the rear of the model, Bill, there's the whole stack of equipment here.
Yeah.
Tell us what's on board.
Well, it was very basic in those days. We had resuscitation equipment, as you see at the back there. On the right-hand side, the big box is the Novox oxygen therapy unit, and really, I mean, all it consisted of was an oxygen cylinder, tubing, and a mask. And basically, you strapped the mask for resuscitation purposes on the patient's face, and did the old-fashioned Holger Nelson method to to resuscitate them. As we moved later on in years, we went on to the Automan resuscitator, which is the white unit with the red cross on the side. That automatically delivered oxygen on a positive pressure basis. So it was a bit of a step up from the Novox set.
I can see a flask there as well. Is that a flask on
yes,
top left?
Yes, there was a water carrier for patients that needed it. In the winter, we used to carry hot water bottles, and they used to be kept in the stretcher blankets, keep the stretchers nice and warm.
And we've also got a jacket there as well, I see.
Yeah, this is the standard uniform of the Birmingham Fire and Ambulance Service at that time. You have to bear in mind that you didn't, incredibly, have to necessarily have a first aid certificate or qualification to be in the ambulance service. If you did, you usually got it from the St John's the Red Cross, as you can see there, and you got an extra 12 and sixpence.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I often wonder what happened to my 12 and sixpence. I think it got lost in differentials.
Yes.
Yeah. As you see, in those days as well, you had drivers and attendants. So attendants didn't drive. It's the drivers that got the extra pay, and they sported a wheel on the uniform there. Accidents and emergency drivers used to have a red backing in there to differentiate between removal motors and emergency motors, because essentially the service was in two halves. There was the 999 ambulances, and then there were the removal ambulances that did the day-to-day hospital transfers and doctors' requests into hospital.
This piece of apparatus here on the right, Bill, is this a stretcher?
Yes, it is. It's a Neil Robertson stretcher. They were used in rescue situations where we've got patients down great depths and from great heights. Very cumbersome and very difficult, time-consuming to strap patients in, but very safe.
Yeah.
That's what we're in. Very safe.
The equipment that we see on board here, is it the original equipment that would have been in operation back in, the mid-60s?
Yes, in the mid-60s, you would have found the Automan on the vehicle. You would have found that Air Vivo, which basically is a rubber bag and a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, for manual resuscitation. You'd found the two basic first aid bags. The little unit with the bottle and the sort of bellows in there, that's in the middle of those two boxes, that's an aspirator, and what you did basically was put the tube in the patient's mouth when you've got sort of excessive fluids you had to clear. And presuming you were kneeling down in the ambulance, your knee would go down there and you'd pump the bellows and suck fluid out from the patient's airways that way. They could actually fill a pint glass with fluid from just one depression of that. So
yeah,
they were simple.
I see as well, just on the inside of the compartment there, there's is that a spotlight I see?
Yes, yeah, there's a spotlight just for, if you're backing up to an incident, that you could turn it and just direct the spot onto behind. Getting a bit stiff with age, I'm afraid now.
A little bit like us all.
Yeah.
This is a community responder vehicle, which is what I do in my particular job. I'm an emergency medical responder, and what we do is we've looked at areas which give us a challenge to get a response to there within 8 minutes. And myself and 5 other colleagues have been placed throughout the county into those communities that present us a particular challenge. So the idea is it is initially a fast response vehicle. In my case, I'm a trained paramedic. It's got all the necessary equipment on board, so you can not only get there within 8 minutes, you can initiate any treatment that the patient needs for critical interventions can be done within the first few minutes before the crew turn up. The second benefit of that is it cuts down the crew on scene time. If the patient is prepared and ready to go at hospital, the on scene time can be vastly reduced, thus getting the patient to where they need to be, definitive care, as quickly as possible.
You mentioned earlier there that you aim to get to incidents within 8 minutes. Do you have to work to targets at all for that?
Not specifically. Obviously, nationally, the ambulance service has to meet 75% of all life-threatening emergencies within 8 minutes. This scheme is there with that in mind, but it also gives the communities the reassurance that there is somebody there within the 8-minute barrier to initiate and start the treatment that is needed.
There's a helmet on the dashboard there with a torch. I presume that would be for nighttime work or such like?
Yes, nighttime work, road traffic accidents, anywhere. It's personal protective equipment, anywhere where you would think that your protection would be at risk. Building sites, road traffic accidents, farming accidents, anything like that, you wear that particular helmet.
It's a well-kitted out car, Cliff, isn't it? If we take a look at the back here, perhaps you could tell us, let's take a little wander around to the back of the car. Perhaps you could tell us exactly what's on board as part of the Shropshire Ambulance Service.
In the back of the actual vehicle we have basically all the critical intervention equipment that you're ever going to need. The bag here consists of all types of oxygen therapy, all types of airway management systems and intravenous systems.
Can we take a look inside?
Yes, of course you can.
Yeah, let's see some of the facilities of that particular bag. Obviously, if anyone needed it in an emergency, it would be good to know that it's on hand.
First piece of equipment that we come to, which is very regularly used, is the bag and mask. Place that on the patient's face, breathe away from them. Right. Easy and quick to get hold of.
Okay.
Next thing, we have a pulse oximeter, which basically tells you how well saturated your blood is with oxygen. It will also give you the patient's pulse rate.
Right, okay.
Okay. So, especially in certain cases, for instance, acute breathing difficulty, you need to know the patient's oxygen saturation before you start giving oxygen and the benefit of that in the meantime.
There's some more apparatus here as well, I notice.
This particular apparatus is basically to do with suction. Some of the packages you see are just duplicates of various pieces of equipment. But this basically is a suction unit. If we haven't got an airway, we can't breathe. If we can't breathe, we die very quickly. Clearing the airway of blood, vomit, sometimes facial tissue if it's a very serious injury. An excellent piece of kit. Saving a patient's life can be as simple as clearing their airway. Just that, for that particular job.
Okay. Now also, there's, in that red bag, just behind this blue one here, we've got is it a defibrillator?
Yeah, what we've got here is an automatic external defibrillator. Nice, very light, very portable. The facilities on this particular defibrillator,
We'll turn it around to the camera there. There we go.
You can leave it on automatic all the time, which means it will advise you if the patient requires a shock. It has a manual override section, so you can manually override it, so you can decide whether the patient needs shocking, the patient's heart needs shocking, and indeed it will monitor the patient's heart through what they call lead 2, which is just one view of the heart. So, and it will also talk to you all the time. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, why not? Why not?
This is what you get when you switch it on. It's not supposed to do that.
Let's try again.
Apply pads to patient's bare chest. Connect defib pads to cable.
So basically that's advising you exactly what to do for the patient. Once...
So So it's really quite high tech then.
Very much indeed.
Yeah.
But very easy to use, very light, portable. And we've actually got these in our community schemes where we train volunteers as members of the public, being used in the totally automatic version for the simple reason they tell you what you need to do for the patient every minute.
Right.
If it is shock the patient, then that advises that. If there's no shock advised, unlike some of these units, it will tell you what to do. So if there's no shock, there's no pulse, and there's no respirations, commence CPR.
Well, as far as 999 rescue vehicles are concerned, this has to be the ultimate. Tracy Morell from the County Air Ambulance is with me. Tracy, I bet this has got some stories to tell, hasn't it?
It probably has now. This has been in service for 10 years here at Cosford. It's 20 years old, the Bolco. So yes, we've moved all types of patients and all types of case in this machine.
Over the years, I mean, what sort of work would it have done, would you think, in the area?
In types of calls, we deal with all types of calls, from road traffic accidents to access problems where land vehicles can't get to the patients. So we really deal with a variety of incident really on this.
Now, you're one of the paramedics for the County Air Ambulance. How long is the training involved in that?
It's quite lengthy really, because you have to be a paramedic even to be able to come and work on this vehicle. Then you have to go through the Civil Aviation Aircrew course. You have to be very, very high up on your skills. So we do additional courses as well. So all in all, you're probably looking at 6-7 years training.
As much as that? That's quite intense then, really.
It is. It's a very hard day's work here, really, because we can go to trauma case after trauma case on this machine. Sometimes the day's very long where you're doing cases all day, and sometimes they're very quiet days where you have to be ready at a moment's notice, so it can be hard work.
Okay. Let's move to some of the equipment on board. Tell us about the facilities here.
Okay, we've got all medical equipment here that a land vehicle carries. We carry a defibrillator, we carry suction units up on the left-hand side. We've got the same amount of oxygen facility, we've got portable ventilators, we carry all the same amount of drugs that land ambulances carry, and have got the capability, as you can see, to carry 2 patients on this aircraft.
Let's take a little look around the rear there as to where they'd, perhaps if we can just take a little move around.
Okay.
This is where they'd actually be loaded in, presumably.
In this particular aircraft, what we do is once our patient's ready for loading, as you can see, generally most of our patients, because of their illness or ailments, are put onto a spinal board, so that's taken out, and the bed is actually loaded through the rear with the patient on it, well covered, well strapped. Looks a little bit daunting because we're a bit low in the back here, so we have a precursor to loading our patients just for a short while to ask them to shut their eyes while they go through this tunnel. Ultimately they come out the other end and we've got access to head and chest then, so that we can deal with the patient.
Right. Now, the running costs of one of these Bolco machines can't be cheap, can it?
No, this particular aircraft runs at about £800,000 a year, so the fundraising side of it's daunting for our fundraising people, but that's what keeps us flying. So.
Yeah. And who actually organises the fundraising for this machine?
Yeah, we've got a whole team of fundraisers throughout the counties that we serve, and it's individuals really basis. We work on deeds of covenant, flowers from funerals, plus people that do many fundraising events throughout the year. So it's all coordinated by fundraisers, but individuals just donate via the appeals office in Dudley. So.
Now, today is actually a very special day for this machine, isn't it?
It is, very, very sadly. This is the last day for the Bolco 105. It's going to be its last day of service before we bring online the new machine tomorrow.
Yeah. And can we take a look at the, is it possible to take a look at the new machine? It's just over in the hangar behind us, I think, isn't it?
Hidden away in the hangar just at the moment. It's just being kitted up, ready for its first flight tomorrow. So quite
an exciting day for it then.
It is, yes, it is.
And what would be the cost? I mean, this is a brand new machine. I mean, what does this actually cost now?
Yeah, I think in running terms it's a little bit more costly than the Bolco, but by legislation we've actually had to move on into the realms of a new aircraft. Those Bolcos are being phased out within the next 5 years, and we're looking more towards virtually £1 million a year to run this machine.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
So a lot more money again
A
then?
little bit more money, yes, on top of things, but the capabilities of it are a little bit better. There's certainly a little bit medical equipment is stored much nicer for the paramedics to work, and there's a little bit more room for us. So we have definitely come up in the world as far as air ambulance goes.
Is it possible to just take a look on the inside for some of the facilities on board? I mean, it seems at first glance on the inside to be a lot larger. Am I? Yeah?
That's one of the beauties for us, is that in fact in the back of this one there are 2 seats, so we can have either both paramedics in the back, or there is facility now for us to take a doctor on board, as well as the front facing seat, because part of the paramedic's role is not only sort of aeromedicine but also map reading. We have to be able to navigate, so we are the pilot's assistant as well en route to cases. So yeah, we've got a lot more room to move in, and that is absolutely excellent for us. All our equipment is much nicely stowed up there on the bulkhead. There's purpose designed, so that we've got equipment where we need it and to hand. So yeah, we've done well medically wise in the back. All the controls in the rear of this we can actually control for ourselves, whereas in the Bolco the pilot actually controlled that.
Yeah, I mean, I can notice that it's a lot more modern in design, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah.
And I noticed in the front compartment there quite a few computer screens, which obviously it didn't have in the older model. This obviously indicates the advancement in civil aviation, I suppose.
That's right, yes. Everything that the pilot sees, the paramedic can also see on the left-hand side. This model is also going to be fitted with a moving map system, which it hasn't got on it at the moment, so that makes navigation far easier. It's got all the new GPS system, all the new radio system, and it is far easier from a paramedic's point of view to be able to read the screens. Not that that's vitally important for us, but as we do navigate with the assistance of the pilot, it is helpful to know what's going on.
Well, Tracy Morrell, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
From all of us here at Briton Ferry, we hope you've enjoyed it. Until the next time, from me, Nigel James, goodbye.